The other polarity here would be the Taurus Scorpio. And I think there's some interesting dynamics here in, thinking about Valentine's Day and relationships and love, and what this axis can kind of reveal, at least what it's revealed to me, is the dynamic of Taurus representing our values. What is it that we hold of importance in our life? And we have to come to terms with that. We have to understand that about ourselves. I think that's a major part of our journey of self-discovery, is like, what do I value? Like, what is important to me? And it's good to know that about yourself so that you can bring that into a relationship. And it's also very important to be able to see that in the other person, and to be able to see the values of another person, the value in another person. And to me, that there's a Scorpio aspect to that, which is to be able to see into the depths of another, what motivates them, what gets them up in the morning, what is inside, what is like the structure of the inside of their nature that makes them act in certain ways, which could in a way be defined as our value structure, because what we value determines how we act in the world. That is really at the basis of action, is value. And I think one of the things that's interesting that I've noticed in people in relationships, or people that are seeking to be in relationship, and I can speak from personal experience as someone that was pretty much single my entire teenage years and most of my 20s. Lot of time in solitude and single and observing people in relationship. And what I noticed is that a lot of people end up going out and looking for the perfect partner, right? They're out there and they're looking for the perfect partner, but they haven't really come to terms with themselves and who they are and what they value. So they don't really know what they're bringing to the table. And what is, I think, a better approach is, rather than going out and looking for a partner, is to make yourself into the most optimal partner for another person. Focus on not in a narcissistic way, but focus on yourself, like heal yourself, transform yourself into the most optimal partner. So that which you would want in another, cultivate that in yourself. It's like, do you want a super sloppy person that doesn't clean their house or make their bed or do their dishes or make good food? Okay, well, do you do those things, right? Do you make your bed? Do you clean your house? Do you do your dishes? Do you cook good food? Well, if you don't, but you want that in another, you got to cultivate that in yourself. And that is because that's something that you value. And so, but you got to build that within yourself. And what that does, this is a kind of the thing about Venus, is that it's the principle of harmony, of congruency, of, I don't really like this term, but people talk about like the law of attraction. I'm not really into that thing, but but that is a very Venusian concept of what is it that we attract towards ourselves. And what we attract towards ourselves is that which is sympathetic, to use alchemical terminology, to kind of our inner state. And so if you want to bring someone into your life that has certain values and certain ways of being, cultivate that in yourself, and you're going to be much more likely to draw it towards you. And in order to do that, this requires transformation, which is the Scorpio side of it. So you have to know what your value system is. You have to know that which you would value in another person. And then you have to transform yourself to become that. And that to me is, one of the, I'm not one to give relationship advice. I'm no expert on the topic, although I have been in a good, healthy, happy, loving relationship for a number of years now. I think it's going on close to 15 years. And I think this is the one thing that a lot of people that aren't in relationship and want to be in relationship should do. I think it's a good thing to do to make yourself that optimal person that you would want to see in another.